And today I am joined by Adam from the Business Automation Company. Hi, Adam.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
Very good, very good.
Excellent. Great. So, Adam, can you tell our listeners a little bit about the business, the history, and how we are where we are today?
Yeah, sure. So when I was 16, I started out doing websites,
Excellent.
and we sort of slowly moved into sort of building systems for different businesses to sort of help automate their processes and just sort of give them a bit of an easier life, really. And that's sort of the very sort of quick version.
Mm.
But yeah, that's sort of how we've got from where we started to here.
Excellent. Wow. That's fab. So, what are your typical clients? What do they look like?
Sure. So our typical clients are people that run businesses that have found that they started running the company and then their company started running them.
Yeah,
I suppose that's
yeah.
probably the best way to describe it. Sort of stifled by processes that they put in place that often, if you pin them down and say, why is that the way it is, they can't even tell you,
Hmm.
even though they made it.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
so yeah, we generally find that the people that if I had to sort of profile them as such, they'd be working 80 hours a week. They don't
Mm,
see their family as
mm.
much as they want to. They don't get the holidays they want. If they do, they're ruined by sort of phone calls and
Yeah.
emails on the beach. That would be sort of our sort of typical client, and then of course we'd go in and sort of try and systematically reduce the admin and reduce the sort of the menial tasks that they
Mhm,
have to do, so
mhm.
they can get back to doing what they really want, which is the thing, whatever that happens to be
Yes,
for
yeah.
them.
Excellent. Fab. So giving people back a lot more time and hopefully letting them enjoy their passions as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think a lot of this is really just sort of lifestyle choices, and
Mm,
I think a lot of people don't actually really stop and think, why did I actually do this in the first place?
yeah.
Why did I quit my sort of comfortable job and
Mm,
all that kind of stuff? Why did I do that? Why did I bark down this sort of road of madness to
yeah.
start this whole thing? Why did I even bother in the first place? Like,
Yeah.
get back to the root of why you actually did it. What did you want to do? Did you want to work, you know, live the sort of classic Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week? Did
Mm,
you want to sort of grow this thing into a massive company? Do you want to sort of travel the world and just sort of, you know, run your business from your phone or laptop? I mean, get back to the truth of it. What did you really want to do? And only once you've done that, can you really start to think, okay, right now, how do we need to restructure this whole beast to sort of give you back what you want?
yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, that's great to get people thinking about actually why they started in the first place. Because often you can be on that kind of hamster wheel, can't you, where you're just servicing the client, you're just doing what needs to be done, and you're kind of bogged down and stuck in everything. So it sounds like if anybody on the call on the podcast is listening to that and thinking, yeah, that's me, they should definitely be getting in touch with you
Yeah.
to try and sort that out. Excellent. So
Mm.
you've been in business a long time, since you were 16. Not that I'm saying you're old, obviously, but I'm assuming you're
I
not
feel old at
18
30.
now. So
Um,
so you've
yeah.
been in business a long time. I'm sure you have kind of many high points and a few low points along that journey.
Oh, many, many. Yeah. I mean, where should I start, high or low? Um, I mean, I'm sort of, you know, I think so, everybody has a different experience in business.
Mm,
We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different things we're sort of trying to do, and when you put all of those things in the melting pot, no one has the same experience twice.
of course.
But I mean, I know from myself, I think moving out of my parents' place when I was sort of
Hmm.
20 really helped me.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how old your listeners are, whether this is even relevant, but
Yeah, no, it will be.
I know that really sort of helped sort of shape me as a person and sort of
Mm,
helped sort of sort my stuff out, if you like,
mm,
nice and early in my life, so I could sort
yeah.
of, you know, by the time I was 22, I was as self-sufficient as it came. But
Mm,
that, so any problems I had after that, I mean, I was like 23 or something. I mean, I remember being on a little what do they call them? Like the little electric key things.
Oh yeah.
And I'd run out of money, but I'd run it out of the reserve as well. And I had a client's website that needed something updated, and the electricity had gone.
Oh
I had no
no.
money. Like when I say no money, I mean nothing.
Zero. Nothing.
But you had to put a fiver on, so I was like, running around the streets, and in my like I didn't even have a car to like search for, but I was like trying to make up £5 so I could go and get this little electric thing topped up so I could upload this client's website. Tragic times, but fun.
Wow. Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure there are a lot of kind of almost fond memories looking back, but I bet they weren't at the time.
I wouldn't change it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change it. I mean, it was
Absolutely.
crazy at the time, but I wouldn't change that kind of stuff because that's what sort of makes you handle
It
the
is.
more sort of tough decisions and things later on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of your kind of, your client who is doing the 80-hour week and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, how do you find them? How do they find you?
Well, it's them finding us, I
Mm,
think. The best thing that we ever did, and it's really helped massively, is I wrote a book called Automate Your Business back in
awesome,
2011. I've got an expanded and updated version coming out soon.
excellent.
Um,
When's that coming out?
well, I've just finished the edit today,
Awesome.
literally about an hour before
Ah,
we jumped on this call. So
excellent.
I'm hoping to have sort of some first run prints in about a week. So
Okay, so by the
so
time
I
this podcast
will.
goes out, then hopefully we should be close to having
Yeah,
some versions that people can buy.
yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
But that's exactly the point. We never sold them, and because there was sort of generally a fairly healthy amount of profit in what we were doing. I
Mm.
felt that it was okay to actually give away sort of real books,
Mhm.
at a cost of about £4. But
Yeah.
that was worth it, I think, 'cause to sort of make that initial impression is
Yeah.
far better than sort of getting a PDF landing in your inbox versus a handwritten sort of card and
Absolutely.
uh, brochure and book in the post. It's a far nicer
Mm.
thing. And that book has produced almost every lead we've got. I mean, obviously we've
Wow.
got sort of outbound marketing and things, but that's been pretty much the main thing.
Mm.
Just writing that book.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And a book, of course, stays around people a lot longer, so it will sit on their shelves for weeks, months, and years. Whereas, of course, the email can be deleted at the click of a button very quickly,
Yeah.
or not even opened, and it can go into spam, or it can be, just completely ignored and not even read. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The
Mm.
book is a great kind of lead magnet, essentially,
Yeah.
a way to get people realizing that you actually know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing, and something that sits around for a long time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No, it's really helps. It's obviously it's sort of semi self-serving in a way because you put the thing out and obviously people do come back. But for me, I found that writing the book initially, I didn't write it with that intent, and I think
Mm.
that really came across.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm finding myself now, even as I say just before we jumped on this call, sort of
Mm.
doing edits,
Mm.
taking out things that I'm like, oh, if you need this, get in touch. If you need this, get in
Okay,
touch.
yeah.
No, get all that out of there. That's not why I
Mm.
wrote it, and that's not why it did well. It did well because it was just all information up front, take it or leave it, and of course let people make their own mind up.
Yeah.
If they read it and think, this is the guy, we need to work with this company, then of course your contact details at the back, you're not
Yeah.
hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a really lovely approach to writing the book as
Hmm.
well, because we have all read business books where it is essentially just a really long leaflet for the company,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it basically plugs what they do every single chapter, and it gets boring.
Hmm.
So I think that's a really lovely ethos to
It
have in
gets
your book,
boring, it's
definitely.
predictable, and
Yeah,
it makes you not trust what they're
it
saying.
does. You're absolutely right, because it feels like a sales pitch.
Yeah, you're like, well, he's telling me this because, or she,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
can't be
yeah,
sexist these days.
yeah.
Um, you're reading it thinking, well, okay, obviously the agenda is to get me as
Yes,
a client or a
exactly.
customer, so why am I going to believe anything they're saying? But when that whole thing is removed, you
Mm,
can start to just relax and buy into the content. And if you
yeah.
do have good intentions with it all, then hopefully that comes
Then it
across.
should come back to you as well
Mm.
in terms of sales eventually as well.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I really love that, and that's really cool. So in terms of where you're speaking about your ideal your main kind of customer being the
Mhm.
person who is doing the 80 hours a week, how on earth do you have time to kind of get them on board and actually get them to buy into what you're doing? And how do they, how do they manage to carve out that time in their agenda to actually work with you, even, if they feel like they're drowning? Obviously, they kind of realize at some point that they need help, but I imagine trying to marry that up with actually what you guys are doing and getting in touch with them and all that can be quite difficult, can it?
Yeah, it is. It's a tipping point thing.
Yeah.
It's like if you're putting on weight, you kind of know it in the back of your head, and then there's just that one day where there's that pair of jeans you can't get into, or the top you can't get into, or something that you knew once was just you look good in, and then you don't look good in it.
Yeah.
I've got to do something about this, and it's that tipping point. So often what I'll find is that it's actually sort of a 2 or a 3-pronged sales approach. So sales approach maybe the wrong word, but I'll explain. So what I mean is, somebody might get in touch initially and they'll read the book. And some people are like, yeah, this is perfect. You're exactly the company we need. Yes, we're really busy. Yes, we're completely sort of screwed at this point, but we know we need something, so get in here and help. So you get that, but you also get people reading it, getting in touch, maybe having a sort of a demo of what we do, an initial meeting, and then they go quiet. And they're too busy to do anything.
Yeah.
And then it happens again and again and again and again. And then finally they go, all right, enough's enough.
Okay.
That's enough. Like, I don't care what needs to happen now. I don't care how much this thing costs. Just get in here and sort it out, because I cannot go go and live my life like this. And that's sort of it. It's just getting people to sort of reach those tipping points. But, part of the sort of the book and the follow-up sort of, marketing with autoresponders and that kind of stuff is to get people to actually notice what those tipping points are, because some people just put things down to a bad day.
Yes.
If the classic one is forgetting to send a proposal to a client. That is the absolute classic, because they know it's lost money.
Yeah, I was always saying it's the craziest thing, isn't it? Because you've spoken to the client, you've nurtured the relationship, they've said, yes, I would like a proposal, and then you don't actually give them the chance to buy from you.
The phone rings. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly it. And, that's what often we'll get back is, we had this thing, we put this sort of, I promised this person a proposal and I never did it, and then we lost the job, and I called them up and said sorry. They said that's fine, we've gone with a competitor.
Yeah.
And it's the most sort of heart-wrenching thing, because you're like, oh man, it's just all that effort to get sort of lead in and work with them and stuff and whatever. So that's often that's a common sort of tipping point, is like, there's no way, we need a better way of doing this. But yeah, that's
excellent. That's that's really cool. Fab. So in terms of your business, obviously you've kind of come a long way in the since you were 16. But what do you plan? What's the plan for the future? What do you 3 to 5 year type timescale? What are you looking to do? Are you looking to do kind of more of the same? Are you looking to move in different directions? What's your kind of goal and plan?
Yeah, I mean, 3 to 5 years is. You nearly asked me a sort of 30 to 50-year plan in the tech world, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it's not long. It's not long.
No, it's so you almost end up thinking in months.
Yeah, sure.
In this world, because you just don't know anything longer than a year, and you can't predict what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
But I'd say the future of our company is, honestly, it's less client services, but more going sort of deeper with those client services. I think.
Okay, interesting.
So instead of taking on every client, we take on very, very specific clients, and we build products that are software as a service for people to sort of still come on board with us. If they sort of buy into our ideas and things like that, they can still get the sort of business automation experience, if you like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool one. I'll write that down.
Use that.
Yeah, in the can. So they can still sort of get the business automation experience, but without sort of having to pay that sort of large fee.
Sure.
To sort of get the the in-depth experience, because it's an incredibly difficult and involved thing to do. I mean, to sort of really sort of go into a company and really do your magic. Back when we were sort of starting out, you would do that for anything, because the numbers were decent and you'd go in and you'd do anything. But obviously, as we've grown, there's only sort of so much you can do without that number sort of continually getting bigger, if that makes sense. Which obviously rules a lot of people out. So the last thing you want to be doing is turning those people away. So we built sort of two off-the-shelf products. We're actually the same product, but so we've got sort of our core business automation system as an off-the-shelf version, which is essentially an amalgamation of all of the client stuff that we've done.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I suppose most people call it a CRM. I mean, it starts as that, and there's obviously different bits involved.
Yeah.
Sort of from automating your marketing through to sort of your sales, then your workflow, and then sort of your finance, and obviously there's productivity tools in there to help yourself as well. So it sort of follows the sort of themes of the book, I suppose. But what that's meant is that instead of people having to sort of come on board and paying sort of a large fee to have a custom system built, on the most part they can actually do it with something that's off the shelf. So it's sort of accommodating more people. I think that's the short answer to your question.
Cool. Excellent. And you were saying kind of how many people are in your team at the moment?
Yeah, so there's myself, my business partner Sabrina. She's a bit of a genius, but she works with sort of all the project management of the product itself. So cool. Sometimes she's my boss. Other times I'm her boss, depending what's going on. But yeah, so I have typically always sort of had a bit of a sort of design background. So I typically work on the majority of the sort of what you see and look at when you see our stuff is typically it's come from me, or mostly. And then sort of Sabrina will work with a team of developers. Got our sort of head developer Grace, who's out in Brazil.
Cool.
Got a couple of other chaps that are in sort of Canada and the States, and we've got a couple of guys in Romania. And a chap over here who ironically could be anywhere in the world and happens to be in Brighton, like we are.
Excellent.
So there's about sort of 7 or 8 of us, depending on how busy we get.
Okay, cool. And so how do you cope with having a team sort of dotted around the world? How do you sort of manage all those interactions and make sure that everyone is kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, I suppose, and on board with the ethos that you're instilling in the business and all that side of things?
Yeah. Well, obviously the time difference is a little bit of a pain, but it's not sort of the end of the world. But what we generally tend to use as a sort of a central point is Basecamp.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we use that as a sort of a central point because it's very much, I mean, the obvious person listening to this now is thinking, well, why don't you use your own stuff?
Yeah, well, that was what was popping into my head. I have to say, I was thinking, I'm sure I thought you might have built something for yourself, but Basecamp is a very good project management tool. So
it is, and I think also there's no point reinventing the wheel, and that's another point. I mean, sort of side tangent. I mean, it would be very easy for us to go and build like a finance tool and build that into our stuff, but we're never going to build our stuff as good as Cashflow and Xero and those guys have. Because we don't have they've just done such a great job of those things. Why go and reinvent the wheel? Basecamp is designed for, sort of software people and designers and, development teams and stuff like that. So yes, we do have the ability to go and sort of rebuild something like that, but what's the point? So we just sort of stick to that, and whatever it is, 12 quid a month. I mean, why spend all that time and effort building something yourself when you can get it for a tenner?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Excellent. Cool. So, if you were to give a key tip to anyone that wanted to start their tech business today, or that you wish you'd known when you started yours, what would it be?
I think the term is scratch your own itch, but build something that, solve your own problem first. I mean, I know for myself that we've tried many different products over the years. We've tried sort of DIY website tools. We've tried contract signing tools. We've tried all sorts of different things to sort of create that sort of software as a service thing, create the subscription model, the autopilot money, all that kind of stuff. And the most successful stuff we've ever done has been when we've built something for ourselves and we're passionate about it. Excellent. And, that really came out when I was sending proposals to clients as a PDF or what have you, and had absolutely no idea what happened once I pressed send.
Yeah.
You spend hours and hours and hours writing these things out. You've dug into every problem. You've really cracked it, and then you send it, and nothing.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
You get that absolute radio silence, which is not cool or fun.
No.
So I wanted to just, I mean, even if I just wanted to know. So we built a tracking tool. So we, created this web-based sort of proposal tool that
Hmm.
tracked what people looked at and when they looked at it and how long and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if somebody went to it, they looked at the price and closed it down, at least I'd know.
So they'd
And
opened it. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't change anything. If they weren't going to
No.
buy it, they weren't going to buy it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at least I knew. So yes, I mean that has hands down been our most sort of successful tool that we've built,
Mm.
and it's something that people have gravitated towards, to the point where we do sort of cold emailing now to sort of web agencies and things like that, and the
Okay.
response rate is ridiculously high for
Wow.
cold emailing without even
Yeah.
a name. It's crazy. So that sort of long answer, but I would say, solve your own problem.
Mm.
And if you can solve your own problem and you can genuinely do a good job of it, don't lie to yourself and pretend
Yeah.
you've done a good job. If you genuinely use it and you use your own stuff, then find other people that are like you,
Mm.
and then you'll find that there's a match.
Awesome. That is a great tip, Adam. I love that. That is really good about solving your own problem, and being passionate about what you're doing as well. That's very, very cool. Excellent. So, Adam, if people want your business automation system, if they want a custom system, or if they want a copy of your soon to be re-released book, Automate Your Business, how can they go about finding out?
Sure. So you can go to businessautomation.co.uk. That's our company's site, and then from there you'll be able to sort of request the books, and then that will come through to you. I mean, what I would encourage anybody to do that actually sends proposals to their clients is use our sort of spin-off software, which is actually built into the business automation system. But you can just go to betterproposals.co.uk, and you can sign up for free and sort of start sending better proposals to your clients. And then if you like that, then you can sort of upgrade to everything else from there. So it's a nice sort of easy way of going about it, and it's sort of my gift to your readers is that be able to use that for free. So
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
so go ahead and you request the book, and I'll make sure everybody gets one.
Fab. That is really cool, Adam. Thank you so much. And I'll put the details of the web link and things in our show notes as well, so that everyone can click on that. Excellent. Well, it's been really great to speak to you, Adam, and find out a bit more about what you do. You can certainly hear that your passion comes across for your business, which is really lovely to hear. And I cannot wait to read a copy of the new book.
Cool. I'll get one in the post to you today.
Oh, that sounds fab. Good stuff.
Cool.
It was lovely
Thanks so
to
much
speak
for
to
having
you.
me.
Take care. We'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.